Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Dead Space 3. Let's continue. Yeah, I was trying to figure out here if there would be any real big difference in this backstory if it turned out that they had called the Scenario 5 because of a coup attempt and there were no Necromorphs alive at that time and people were just killing each other for basically no reason or a reason that is completely unconnected or very loosely connected to the Necromorph and the marker and all of that. Does that really change the game at all? No? I mean, at the end of the day, they're all dead still. And here we are, once again, being moved outside. I would kind of have liked a more of a transition, frankly. Something more than just a door that opened. There's a ripcore. I think we already had one of those. We can hear some unitologists, which they seem to be.
One mind, one body.
There's another scavenger thing. And the only reason we would have even come down this direction if we were just following the game was because of that sound effect. Remember, we've already seen the super fast versions of the Necromorphs, so this kind of slow version of the Necromorph doesn't really concern me. And these sections here clearly are sections that full zoom scope, which I'd never use. They clearly should have been more to the game. There should have been more here than just, oh, here's a bunch of dead ends. He wants us to go up. Wow. For a second there, I thought I was gonna clip right through the wall. You might as well just run. It's not like the Necromorphs are gonna spawn so rapidly. Or at least in most scenarios they won't spawn so rapidly that you have to really be concerned about that. This is a bunch of boxes, and we saw something pop up there. So we know there's something on the other side of there. Let's see. Remember, these guys you're kind of just better off letting them attack you. Just let them run at you. That way you can get 2 shots in a row. I mean, sure, I can hit that guy in the head, but it seems like they kind of have a regenerating amount of health that probably isn't really regenerating, but it definitely feels like it. In previous scenarios, we have totally smashed some of these guys in the head, and then it didn't really do anything, and we ended up spending 5 or 6 shots on a creature that should die in 2 shots. Our damage is not as high as I'd like it. We're not one-shotting characters, but I think we're doing fine. This game really fails to make you want to go up to look upward, even though we do occasionally have a Necromorph jump from the roof. They immediately end up on the ground, and then you just shoot them normally. Pause now if you want to read this. Pause now if you want to read the rest of that. So is this going to be another side quest? This is a super long level. Disposal services. I guess we'll come back and deal with disposal services later. I have a slight fear that some of these limbs might belong to a Necromorph that hasn't dropped its payload, as it were. I wonder what these are. Whether these are spikes to hook into the ice, or spikes for an antenna array, or what. So yeah, it does feel very possible that you, throughout the game, could have stepped on a claw or a tiny limb, and that would have given you a little bit more resources. Although, in all fairness, why are we really caring that much about resources when we're pretty much full on resources anyways? It definitely feels like they're stretching here to have more reasons why these guys would attack you. Yeah, it seems like we've got double the amount of Necromorphs now attacking. And that was just a lot. Alright, well, we'll use the other gun then. You walk past a certain point. I'm gonna have to watch my health a lot more. You can see how that grenade is, I don't think, likely to actually hit anything. It seems like they've decided to stop attacking when I backed off, which is funny because that's not what this game has typically done in the past. Like, typically the game does not seem to really let you pull that trick off and just back off in a specific direction. Yeah, I really have to question, like, where these guys are coming from. Like, I'm just gonna play it safe here. I don't want to play this a third time. These little red dots are designed to confuse you, certainly. If we were to have a full zoom scope here. Yeah, I think I need the blast radius on this gun, on the explosion part of this, to be a lot higher. Like, see, even the blast radius there is not really pulling it off. Where did that guy come from? This is, frankly, just a little too many. Well, a little too many enemies. And is that the end of the conflict, or is there more to find? Very possibly that has used up a lot of our bullets also. So we'll need to check that out. Yeah, we've got about 46 bullets. So you really cannot take on these kinds of conflicts at that level. Otherwise, you're going to end up running out of bullets very fast, and that I knew that was going to be part of the idea of having a gun like that, is that it just doesn't work in this strategy, in this type of game. It's totally disconnected from what the amount of resources and the balance is for this game. Another collectible. Yeah, that definitely shows that if you were going to make an action game, you needed to rethink this whole balance as far as resources. You needed to be drowning in bullets, and they did go halfway towards that by having a replacement of the bullets into a single type of ammunition instead of individual ammunitions. But they didn't really give you more bullets, nor make the enemies really require more bullets or throw more enemies at the game. Pause now if you want to read this. Pause now if you want to read the last sentence of that. They always leave a couple of corpses behind, but it's really only about 2. And that's it. I guess we have to go this way because there's nothing else here. In these ice pieces are some species that looks like Necromorphs. I'm not sure if it really is Necromorphs. It would be interesting if they told some kind of story that there was an actual living species first, and the Necromorphs are the are like the after image of the original species.
Perhaps even more so. We must all act our part in the natural evolution of the universe, Isaac. Something you seem rather reluctant to accept.
The idea of a natural evolution of the universe kind of falls apart, though, because in the final state of the universe is the heat death of the universe. So playing a part to move the universe towards its inevitable entropy and lack of energy is not something that particularly, I think, interests too many people. And here we have actual, what look like cores of ice. So I wouldn't be surprised if we somehow start thawing out these cores of ice, and these are some new generation of better necromorphs, if not the originals necromorphs. We get these jump scare sound effects, but they seem to be fairly procedurally generated. They don't seem to really be scripted on anything. Or if they are scripted on something, they're not scripted on anything particularly interesting. So we got a ripcore, full zoom scope. We have +2 reload, +1 reload, rate of fire. We have the scavenger bot, which, let's see, as far as weapon upgrades here, +2 clip, plus rate of fire, +2 damage, +1 rate of fire, +2 rate of fire, +1 reload. So I could probably do +2 reload, 1 rate of fire instead. Because what we want to replace is +2 rate of fire. Yeah. We wouldn't want that. Well, I could replace this actually right now with just rate of fire, and that would be better. Anything +2 rate of fire plus something would be better. So craft and equip that, and that's better. And then probably +2 reload alone may be the only thing that we really could upgrade more, but we don't really need to do that. +2 damage and clips. Yeah, if I did more clips, I could probably get up to almost 20, maybe 20 bullets. I don't know if I really need 20 bullets, short reducing the rate of fire. What I don't have here is damage, and I probably would want to turn up the damage on this one. So a little bit less clips and more damage, maybe. +2 damage, 1 clip is probably better. +2 damage, rate of fire. That's probably fine. +2 damage, rate of fire. +2 clip. Let's see. +2 reload clip might be better than +2 reload reload. Yeah, I think you want to do this, and +2 damage reload, +2 damage reload, +2 damage reload. Well, I might have the damage already at the maximum though. Let's see. So yeah, at this point I'm wasting time, of course, but this is probably a little bit better of a thing to do, is try and upgrade things. Just increase everything a little bit more as far as how fast I could launch a grenade. Plus 2 damage, 1 rate of fire. I don't want to turn that one off, I guess. Okay, I think that's probably as much as I can upgrade. But then there's more upgrading here. Trip mines that stick to surfaces. Creates trip mines that knock back with knockback damage. Incendiary grenades. Rocket launcher. Yeah. I don't want damage support so much on the rocket launcher as I want explosion. This is what we would want. And I need more tungsten if I was going to make that. So let's go ahead and scrap this. Damage support may be a better move here. We'll put that on that one. Do we have enough? Nope, we still need 50 tungsten. But I think we can probably pull that off if we, for instance, sell that. At this point, we almost have enough things to basically have everything we would want on this gun. But there's nothing Borderlands-esque to these gun parts. Like, there's nothing that says 5% of the time you don't actually use a bullet, or anything along that lines. So you really can't do as much as you would like to do. I'm gonna get the bullets back up to 100. That puts us fine. And I think at this point we could probably do with even one extra medkit pack, one medium medkit pack. And that took so incredibly long that we're just back to the stasis bot, so we might as well just collect the stasis bot, the scavenger bot. I still think we're about 100, maybe 150 transducers short. Maybe a little bit of semiconductors short. So if we were to run into a suit upgrade station, it may take a while. Alright, so that puts puts us forward. It'll be slightly annoying if it turns out that we end up having to listen to the unitologist guy talk for the next 5 missions or so. Alright, so there's a whole optional mission that I think we'll want to do in a second. It'd be funny if this actually is the way to move the story forward and not this. Both these doors say geology, because then that would be like the first time that the game actually forced you to do something. So that gave me a blueprint for something called Hot Death. Here we have a compact EarthGov frame, which maybe that means there's some special frame we could get that could increase the number of slots on our gun. So we should check that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised the way the menu looks if you could get 5 or 6 slots of upgrades on a frame. I don't think we're going to get 8 to 8 or 10 though. Oh, before we leave, let's just see. Nope. Scavenger bot wants us to go further into the area. I feel like this is a mistake that pretty much all live service games, particularly sci-fi first-person shooter live service games, run into, where it is just this insane gun porn concept. Where you literally are just making more and more guns, as if most gamers are obsessed with guns, which I don't think most gamers are that obsessed with guns. If anything, I would argue that video games in general have been pushed very much towards moving to be first-person shooters, whereas in previous generations you had a lot more platformers, 3D platformers in the Nintendo 64 era. You had a lot more adventurers and RPG games, and it really is the gamer bro Xbox when that came about that Halo made first-person shooting become the new norm, and now it has become such a default for so many games it's kind of boring. I've seen several games that have first-person shooting in them for like no reason. Okay. A compact EarthGov frame would give me slightly faster speed and give my lower tool more speed. But it would only allow 1 upgrade circuit. Whereas the standard frame has 2 circuits by default. Well, I suppose we should try this and then see what happens. Okay. So +2 damage, +2 clip. I don't know if that really upgraded anything. And then plus 2 reload, maybe. I don't think it does anything else. Okay, well let's try that gun out and see what that feels like. Because it feels like I just had to spend a lot of upgrades to get to where I already was. I think that's right. I don't know if this is really upgrading anything though. Guess it is. Some of these +1/+1 things could, I think at this point, be sold for tungsten. Alright, so reload. A slight upgrade on reload would help, but not really as much as anything else. So what I'm doing is just going through everything and seeing if there's an idea here that lets you upgrade more. Like 2 damage, 2 clip feels like that should upgrade something. But let's come back here and check and see if they actually gave us any more clips. We had 13. We now have 15. So this whole system's not really working particularly well. Two damage, 2 clip. We need more. To reload, 2 clip. We need more tungsten. Let's go ahead and sell that. Sell that. Sell that. We're still short on tungsten. Two damage plus 1 reload. 2 damage minus 1, 2 reload plus minus 1 clip. We'll sell that. We'll sell that. We'll sell anything that's kind of a minus anything. And we'll sell things that are just solid +2 in general. Does that give us enough tungsten? Just barely. We need more for tungsten. This could be 2 damage, 1 reload, and I guess that would work. 2 damage plus a rate of fire. Doesn't seem to really upgrade anything. 2 damage plus 1 reload. Seems funny that this plus 2 damage plus 1 reload and this 2 damage plus 1 reload are in different slots. Let's come over here and dismantle this weapon. And let's see if we could potentially maybe look at selling some things now, because it seems like the compact standard frame doesn't really stand a chance. The heavy elite frame here with no upgrades actually might be better than the standard frame. That is certainly another thought, is that if I was to sell this though, would I get anything back? If I was to sell this, I'd get 40 tungsten back, so let's just sell that. Because the next frame I would craft would be a heavy EarthGov frame, which we have yet to find, and so that would be our next upgrade here. Jeez, we're gonna spend 40 minutes just messing with all of this. We can just get rid of the scope. We can get rid of both full zoom scopes. We can get rid of the stasis support. And I will hold on to that. We could get rid of acid support. I think that's probably a smart move too. Sniper-like precision, never gonna use it. So let's just get rid of that. Shotgun, never gonna use it, get rid of that. Might try some of those other things. Mines, maybe we'd use trip mines with knockback damage. I suppose that some of these encounters could have been improved with trip mines. Go ahead and sell a military engine. There's all kinds of things also that could be crafted that we'll just never get around to. Okay. So, reload. I feel like reload is the thing you want, but then there's definitely some rate of fire stuff that seem to all of a sudden now work. So +2, 1 reload and rate of fire. +2 damage, rate of fire. Plus. Let's see. Apply that one. Okay. This probably now could be replaced with 2 damage plus 2 clip. Yes. And so now we're at max clip, max reload, pretty high damage. It still looks to me like there could be a frame at some point that would have an upgrade to the left and the right of the screen. If that's not the case, then whatever. Plus 2 damage and rate of fire. Okay. Yeah. Now it seems like we've just made a much better weapon, and we're going to have to certainly make a do a lot of upgrading to the other gun, which we have actually used nowadays. The real question to ask here is, do I have a torque bar? No, good thing I checked. I wanted to see how much tungsten I have right now. It's 37, so we're still very low on tungsten. We've had to play a whole game. Seems like it's kind of the same fire speed either way. We've got 20 shots now. We are doing really good. Like, we could increase the rate of fire if we get another frame, but I seriously doubt there's a scenario where we're gonna get a 4th tier framed item or weapon frame, because we've kind of already maxed it out. We would max it out with a 3rd tier. Yep. Seems to me like we're probably going to get attacked going back this way. Doing this side mission. They decided to clean up the drops. But there's really got to be a better way. Like, clearly, if you want an action game, it should be that I pick up the upgrade chips that's immediately put into some kind of universal upgrade. And so we just level up our character, and because we leveled up our character, we get a +1 on damage in general. Yep. I kind of suspect we will get the EarthGov heavy frame in this optional mission. The only thing I would have liked is if this gun was a little less precise and a little bit more wide. This whole area once again seems like it is the exact same floor plan and design. So we could theoretically use this shuttle to take us back to some other previous optional missions, which I guess the idea is that you could have done all the optional missions when you felt more secure. That being said, I don't think we ever get to archaeology, and marker containment is probably the last place. So going back to the supply depot at Armory, those would just be optional missions in case you missed them. It says no smoking, and then it has a machine here that looks like an old-fashioned cigarette machine. It's probably a joke. And we aren't going to get a new suit in the optional missions, I would suspect. So, yeah, we are 70 transducers short, and then we would have our suit fully upgraded for an achievement, but there's plenty of co-op achievements we'll never get, so there's really no reason to be concerned about that. It's sort of not worth your time to upgrade your gun, considering how it seems fairly obvious that the enemies scale. They either throw more enemies at you, or they straight up give more health to the enemies, the Necromorphs. We're not fighting as many of the unitologists as I thought we would. I would have thought we would have had to fight a bunch of them, and instead it seems it says recover anything that survived the purge. Yeah, I would have to suspect that they couldn't program the AI of the unitologist, and as such they have just told them to shoot themselves and scripted that. Because when you think about it, there is like 3 generations of Necromorphs running on you, rushing you, trying to hack and slash you. But that's not 3 games worth of somebody trying to actually shoot you. The only time something actually tried to shoot you in the previous games was in some rare instances where you would expect the unitologist to run and hide and take cover on top of just targeting you and standing in open air and shooting at you, whereas the Necromorphs in the first game basically stood in open air and tried to shoot you. This is just going to be the exact same layout again. We're going through every layout forwards and backwards, maybe 3, maybe 4 times. Pause now if you want to read this. Oh, no, actually there was no more to read. What should be taken and noticed here is it does seem like we're going a different path. No real challenge there. Like, let's just be honest that no big difference in the fact that my damage is way higher. No big difference that my firing rate was that higher. It wasn't a challenge before. It's not less of a challenge now. Okay. That was a fairly small area for the explosive characters to be. And it looks like we're going to go in circles. And on one level, I can't really complain about these environments looking bland and generic since they're military standard buildings, or you would assume that much, and for the fact that we have specifically ended up using... How did I miss it? Alright, well, apparently it's down lower now. Because we're reusing all these environments, that it would be weird if there was something unique and distinctive to the visuals of these environments. My stomping ability still not really cutting the mustard as much as I would like it to. See, that was an example of the leg being dismembered, and yet when I stomped on it, can't stomp on these lights. These are work lights, which these are just like normal work lights that you would get nowadays. There's nothing futuristic or sci-fi about them. Not that everything has to be futuristic or sci-fi. It's just most things should visually seem like they are actually designed and polished for this game instead of just being pre-purchased assets, which is what they are. Okay, well, there we have another glitchy ladder climb. It's no surprise that these glitches are showing up in the sections that are... I'm not gonna risk going back down there and crashing the game, so... And I'm not gonna waste the time to try and switch over to VSync. But yeah, anything that was glitchy seems to have been handed... My guess is all these optional missions were made by a different team completely, and that's why they're glitchy. It could be they were all made by the same team, certainly, and that this was more of a case of just budgeting and time. It's interesting you have like a dripping water effect. We haven't had anything to do with water at all in this game up until this point. We can't pick up these red canisters. They look like they might have exploded. Alright, well. Another little hack door for no reason other than, I imagine, will potentially trigger somewhat of a jump scare when we turn on the door. We get everything. Yep. It is incredibly one note, this game. Just incredibly, incredibly one note. They are experimenting here, I will give them fairness, in all fairness, with the idea of Necromorphs appearing in smaller areas. It doesn't really work, but I'll grant them that they are experimenting with that. And we can hear all kinds of weirdness. Alright, so for safety's sake, let's just turn on the VSync now. We'll see if we can take on the entirety of this encounter with the VSync on. And then be done with it when we leave this room. +2 clip, +1 reload. Okay. This is the super fast glitchy guy attacking, and with the terrible frame rate, it doesn't really matter at all. At a certain point, I guess the question would be, would we start to run into Necromorphs that are super glitchy and have the axes ability or something like that? Because super fast, glitchy, can run faster than you can see them, Necromorphs with explosive arms probably is a little too much. And the little starve to death characters that were a replacement for the babies in the second game could certainly be an issue. I probably lost more health than I should have in that scenario because of that fight, and I am not 100% certain that we can succeed. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we get attacked again. Alright. Malfunction, bridge malfunction. Bridge is now down, so we can cross. We wouldn't have been able to cross here. And notice how they specifically took an effort here to not paint the blue, the glowing blue on that ladder to make it obvious that you can't climb on that ladder, where there has been blue on every other ladder. I kind of want the tungsten, so I'm not going to be super crazy about this, but seriously, game? You don't even know where you're pointing, do you? I kind of do want the tungsten, though. And then I have to kind of take this back, because it looks like they painted this part blue, whereas it shouldn't be painted blue. Honestly, it glows like a reflective tape, but it probably should glow like a piece of electronics. Here's an experiment. With VSync on, am I going to fall through the elevator? I would suspect not. There was something interesting in when we clipped through the level when we were doing the rappel climbing. And I did notice that the game level was actually very vertical, which makes me suspect that what would happen is this level is incredibly vertical too, and I would say that you probably shouldn't have that. These elevators should probably not actually move a character up and down at all. It should just be a loading box, and this level should just magically be right next to the next level. Remember, video games are simulations. They don't have to be the real thing. So there really isn't a good excuse to. Still not at the right place. Yeah, there's really no reason to have levels go up and down the way they do. What's interesting is these guys are fast enough, even with the sluggish frame rate, that they're a bit of a concern, almost to the point where I wonder if maybe the game reset the frame rate when I entered this room. And I suspect we may end up just having this whole level be played through, since we've already gone an hour, I know, but like this really is just shooting gallery stuff at this point. And I wouldn't really have needed a upgrade on my weapon to shoot the explosive sacks on these creatures. You can always blow those up in one hit. Interesting. Well, I can telekinesis that, but I can't climb up there. So we're going around in circles to climb up. Nothing's gonna attack us, apparently, climbing up this ladder. Very small room for no good reason. Yeah, I'm not hearing any like real scavenger sounds. Which really just makes me feel like this optional level is around or near close enough where the scavenger bot is pointing towards something in the main levels, the main game. Because it is just pointing in different directions that we can access. Right. And that's, at this point, a little too many rooms we've gone through without an encounter. just stomp on some bodies to make sure we've got everything. And nothing really stopping us from using a couple of small health kits. You would have thought the game would have balanced us out by now and stopped giving us small health kits and instead just giving us medium health kits. It is at this point just kind of intentionally wasting your time by giving you smaller things that would fill up your inventory. And still haven't gotten anywhere. Alright, well, let's see. +2 clip, 1 reload. Means what? Probably nothing. +2 damage, +1 clip. I think I probably could upgrade this to +2 damage, +2 clip. Right? Rate of fire, +2 damage, +2 clip. Again. +2 clip, +1 reload is new. I guess that is better than what I had before. Rate of fire, rate of fire, rate of fire, rate of fire. +2 damage, +1 reload. Yeah, if I change any of that, that would be bad. I don't have anything better to improve rate of fire, so that there isn't anything really to upgrade. We still have the tungsten torque bar. We can go ahead and sell that. I think I'm fairly happy with all my weapons at the moment, but then we'll end up spending a lot of time, I imagine, upgrading the next weapon, as it were. Let's turn off the VSync. Wait, I want to double check here and make sure I'm still at 1920 by 1080. That would be easy to accidentally bump. Alright, well, let's see. If we were to look, we're still in the middle of this optional mission. We've gone an hour and 10 minutes. If we look at all of the dialogue stuff, it still seems like there's a decent amount. Clearly, chapter 14 is the last big chapter. If we were to look at progress on chapter 14, it says we are 41.8% of the way done. There are some optional missions, so obviously you can't get 100% done. It seems like there's only 3 more text logs, which, yeah, that doesn't seem like that much more. And yeah, there's really just not a lot to say here. Like, we can't really care about the achievements, but particularly when some of them are hidden. I will applaud this game for being older in the sense that it actually shows you the achievements instead of just popping up a Steam overlay. Eventually, I think it became standard or required to just pop up Steam, Xbox, PlayStation trophy overlays. And then that's kind of game breaking as far as the atmosphere breaking. We have 20% of the achievements done. Probably can't get anywhere close to 50% of them done without playing the game on impossible with co-op. So it's not really something to be concerned about. And yeah, once again, we've gone over an hour in this gameplay, and it's just more of the same. It's not terrible. I'm definitely not hating this game as much as I thought I would, but it doesn't feel like Dead Space. It doesn't feel like anything other than a generic zombie shooter. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.